Wayfinder. I've been pretty excited to get to play this game. In fact, I was even fortunate enough to get to play the closed beta, which was a hell of a good time. So what is Wayfinder? You're probably wondering. Wayfinder is an MMORPG-lite from the studio that brought us Darksiders Genesis, Battle Chasers, and even that Ruined King League of Legends game. So far, they have a pretty reputable array of titles under their belt, and I believe that with time, Wayfinder will also be respected as well. Eventually, but we will get to its current issues a bit later. Now, I don't really like MMOs very much, and that is for one main reason: the goddamn combat. Final Fantasy XIV comes to mind, World of Warcraft as well. Just in general, the style of combat these games typically employ is just not my speed. That's not to say that they aren't deep and well thought out and well executed, they're just not really my style of gameplay that I enjoy. Enter in Wayfinder, my beloved. Mixing the genre with a stew of beautiful graphics, exciting hack and slash style combat, and flashy abilities and super moves. The combat genuinely is a blast to mess with, especially its melee weaponry. While Wayfinder does have set characters you play as, which I know some people, including myself, are disappointed with, these characters still feel incredibly powerful to use and are just well designed in general, as well as with the help of some really fluid animations that chain well together makes everything just feel even spicier. Each Wayfinder also has like a different play style to build around, and all of their abilities tend to be broad enough that you can build them in different ways that I think is pretty awesome. In conjunction with these abilities, each character may also use any weapon you have unlocked, although some of the characters do feel a bit pigeonholed into specific weapons, our lovely bearded paladin especially. Oh, no. But now that we've kind of talked about the characters and the weapons and the abilities very briefly, let's talk about the gameplay loop that you'll mainly be playing with: the grind. You will be slaying your way through procedurally generated dungeons, which, while you will eventually recognize the tile sets they are using, they tend to feel pretty fresh for a while longer than if they were just static dungeons. And you will also battle massive, well-designed bosses. There are one or two bosses per dungeon that you fight separately, making grinding a lot easier since you don't have to fight your way to them, and quite genuinely, these bosses mostly feel fantastic to fight. There's some really creative encounters in this game. The more bosses you unlock to combat with, the more wildly unhinged they get, and I just fucking love it. You use the materials you earn from these fights to build better weaponry, craft cosmetics for your house in the game, and create some consumables or stat boosting artifacts. Altogether, the grind itself does feel quite rewarding. I found myself progressing towards cool weapons without even meaning to, meaning that valuable drops happen often enough that you don't feel like you're bashing your head against a brick wall. There's also large open world portions of the game that allow for world events, side quests, and general world building to thrive. While this isn't a modern day Far Cry map in terms of size, they've pumped the whole area full of intriguing secrets and side quests that force you to peer deeper into the areas you thought you already understood. It's excellent. So yes, Wayfinder is incredibly gorgeous, incredibly fun, and absolutely lovely to vibe in. But let's talk about its monetization strategies and those current negatives for the game. Monetization wise, I think Wayfinder is doing it smartly and in a consumer friendly way. This title is being published by the guys that did Warframe, so it's bound to have some clever microtransactions. And Wayfinder does have very similar microtransactions to Warframe, so if you already dislike or like Warframe's microtransaction kind of thing going on, then you'll like this one too, or dislike this one too. Good to keep in mind. Like Warframe, Wayfinder has heroic versions of its characters, not unlike the primes in Warframe. And while everything from weapons to heroes in Wayfinder are relatively easy to unlock, free-to-play style, with a decent chunk of grinding, you can also purchase them to jump that line forward. I also want to quickly mention that there isn't a wait time when you craft stuff like in Warframe. Thank God. It is the worst thing about Warframe. It's why I can't enjoy it. Wayfinder also offers a battle pass, but thankfully they made these battle passes to function like Halo Infinite's, meaning when a season ends, you don't lose your loot that you missed out on. Instead, you can swap between which one you have activated whenever you want, allowing you to catch up if life got in the way for the previous season, which is just something that I think every game should do if it has a battle pass. It's very consumer friendly, and it just means you're not a piece of shit. It all together just adds to the low stakes chill vibes of the game, and I fucking adore it. Now though, I do have some pretty big negatives for this game that could lead to you hating it, at least right now. The servers are absolutely, positively fucked. While the game itself runs quite well, the servers have been having an ocean of issues. While the servers are being handled by Digital Extremes, not Airship Syndicate, it's still incredibly disappointing that it's been having so many issues since its launch. Not sure if Digital Extremes weren't confident in its potential, but the servers on launch could only handle about 10,000 players at once across both platforms of PC and PlayStation. This led to queues lasting multiples of hours, as well as server instability once you did get in. While the queue is now never longer than a minute or two thanks to Airship Syndicate's quick action, the game will still kick you out or lose connection to the servers relatively often. This game is definitely early access, that's for sure. Some of the game's systems aren't completely baked as well, and there are some nasty bugs that do exist out there, and you will deal with them. I had a bad bug just the other day where, after losing my first attempt on a boss, when I went to retry it, the game froze and booted me to the main page. So expect bad bugs. Expect server instability, expect to get annoyed sometimes. Altogether, despite this, I do think Wayfinder is 100% worth playing if those things just don't really bother you all that much. If you do mind them, then I do recommend at least keeping an eye on it when it launches officially or after things kind of stabilize. This game has some seriously fantastic groundwork done, and they have a lot of awesome plans coming up, including like player housing, which is super cool. I can't wait to own a neighborhood with my friends. That would be pretty amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with this game, and I'm in for the long haul. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm gonna keep playing it. Anyhow, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a little like, and perhaps, just maybe, subscribe. But most importantly, have a goddamn wonderful day, and don't die, bitch.